People are always sending me videos to look at, and I recently saw a page where all the videos were about how great homeschooling is and how homeschoolers are just so much better. And it really just started annoying me because it felt like those couples who talk about how awesome and romantic their marriage is, only to soon enough announce their divorce. So I thought that I would make a video on all the things about homeschooling that I really disliked. Now, for those that are new, I have 3 kids who are now 25, 23, 23. I homeschooled them from kindergarten all the way through high school. I graduated them from high school myself. I got all of them into college. They have all graduated from college and are now thriving. So these negatives obviously did not stop me from homeschooling because nothing is perfect. I'll also say that I don't think any of these negatives only affect homeschoolers, but the private and individual nature of homeschooling leaves us without a lot of accountability, and in any situation that's never good. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, and just like any other introspective exercise, it's important to at least realize the possible pitfalls so that you can adjust and apply to your unique family. Number 1, parents who overcoddle their kids. One way is giving constant praise with an inability to critically and objectively assess your kids. This is not unique to homeschooling, but like I said, there are a lot less outsiders who can challenge you or hold you accountable. I remember this one mom whose kids were a lot older than mine, and she would always go on and on about how smart and ingenious her kid was and how they were so different and they were really going to stand out in college admissions. But when the time came, they barely got in anywhere because her mommy grades did not match their standardized test scores. And the kid practically had a meltdown because all those years, mom was saying that they would get in anywhere they wanted, and it wasn't even close to being true. And this is something that my own kids really disliked, where they were always saying that we were homeschooled, but we are not homeschoolers. Following that is number 2, parents who coddle themselves and don't push themselves to do more as an educator. There are so many possible reasons why someone could do this, but one I think could be because they themselves may have struggled in a particular area, and it just makes it easier to reduce the importance. I remember this one mom who stated that her kid, who was planning on going to college, didn't need lab sciences because she had never done them and she was fine. This is not appropriate or fair to your child. Just because I failed algebra 1, 2 times, could you imagine if I said that my kids didn't need higher level math because I've never used algebra? Could you imagine what that would have done to my own one kid who he has just flown through all of the high school math levels and he ended up completing Calc BC in junior year? Number 3, parents who project their own trauma and make their kids live in the aftermath, but the kids are raised to think that it's normal. Something like if the parent was bullied growing up and they've never healed or grown from it, so then they have this fear of certain situations that they pass on to their own kids, and the kids end up thinking that it's normal to live like that. For example, I grew up suffering with a lot of racism, and I ended up really hating this particular town that I lived in during my teen years. Even though it's a really nice place, I would never want to live there. Because of my past, I avoided all of the homeschool activities there, but it got to a point where I realized that my kids had friends who lived there, and the irony of all ironies, there were a lot of families that just vibed with ours, and me projecting my history onto my kids was making them suffer a trauma that is not theirs. They never experienced racism there, and so I had to work through it. I joined some groups, and now some of their best friends and activities have come from that town, which I just find so funny. Number 4, parents who complain about the cost so much and want everything for free and end up not giving their children much. You are educating an entire human being. It is going to cost money. And there are some people like those crazy couponers who are really good at finding deals and who I'm sure could homeschool for cheap. But I'm telling you that to homeschool well, this is not really possible. There are parents who buy outdated versions of curriculum, who use siblings or friends as tutors rather than hiring someone. And the list just goes on and on. And one of the problems with this is that it causes burnout in the parent. Homeschooling and raising kids takes an immense amount of energy and time. We're going to have to pay some money for some things rather than trying to hunt down and cobble together free stuff. And to keep telling new homeschoolers that they can homeschool for free or for cheap is the homeschoolers' version of toxic positivity. And last is parents who do not want to send their kids to public school because they want a better education for their kids, but they end up relying on co-ops and other people for their kids' education. Obviously, I don't know every single co-op across the U.S., but it has been accurate for all the ones that I've been a part of, and it's also been accurate for all the other homeschool moms that I've worked with and coached over the years. And so that is, never trust a co-op for your kids' education. A co-op should only be for fun, socialization, and extracurricular type of things like art, music, dance. There's no quality control or assessment when it comes to co-ops. And when you sign up for these co-ops, a lot of them sound so wonderful and make all these promises, but they don't even come close to delivering. So these are just a few of the things that I was thinking about. Let me know what you think and what your experiences have been.